Hey everybody, Johnny Stewart here from John's Guitar Lounge, and today I want to talk to you about something really serious, and it's one of the scariest things that any guitar player can ever really go through, and that is having your guitars stolen. Because Paul Gilbert from Mr. Big just had 4 of his guitars stolen just a couple days ago on tour in Germany for the Mr. Big farewell tour. Now I'm going to show pictures of those 4 guitars throughout this video, so hopefully someone will see it and hopefully can help him get them back. So watch this video all the way to the end, especially because I'm going to give you tips on how to protect your guitars and how to safeguard them as best as possible, just in case, God forbid, if one ever did get stolen, so that you could track it down and have as good of a chance of finding it and getting it back as possible. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard of other guitars that have been stolen, famous guitars from famous guitar players, like Rory Gallagher's most famous Stratocaster, which he finally recovered and was able to play for a long, long time, luckily. Eric Clapton's Beano Les Paul, the 1959 Les Paul that he used to record that famous album with John Mayall's Blues Breakers, called the Beano album because of the magazine Eric is reading on the cover. George Harrison's Rickenbacker, and all sorts of other guitars. So even though it's happened a bunch, and some people might think, oh, well, they've got a bunch of guitars, they're famous, and they're rich, and guitar companies just send them guitars, that's beside the point. I don't know about you, but for me, my guitars are like my babies. My guitars are extremely important to me. Let's help Paul Gilbert get his guitars back. And now I'm going to give you my best tips to help safeguard your guitars as best as possible. Now, first and foremost, you want to take pictures of your guitars, especially guitars that have like some sort of like special figured wood and things like that, because the wood grain can really help to identify a particular guitar. Even if you know the model and even the serial number of the guitar, by having that picture, that is going to go a long way toward helping prove that that guitar is yours and helping police find that guitar. Same thing goes for the neck. Marks in the wood and things like that, you want to take pictures of all that stuff and document that. Now, tip number 2, the same thing goes for any marks or dings or things like that, because nobody's perfect, even me. So as you can see down here, I accidentally bumped this a while back because it's one of my main players, and unfortunately it got some damage. And interestingly, both of these 2 tips that I just told you are key ways that historians and appraisers and people like that, experts in the field, can and do identify and authenticate famous guitars, such as Bob Dylan's Stratocaster and things like that, based on the wood grain and the certain markings and nicks. Because even if you relic a guitar, and even if you try to make a guitar look as close to something, relic with all the nicks and dings and things like that as possible, the wood grain is never going to lie. The wood grain in the guitar is never going to lie. Now, the third tip is virtually every guitar, especially guitars made now, have serial numbers on them. So normally it's on the back of the headstock. Sometimes it'll be someplace else. These Volas even come with a QR code, which is pretty cool. There's a serial number right under that QR code. You're going to want to write that serial number down. You're going to want to take a picture of it and keep that with all of your other guitar documentation. Now, some people might say, well, if I've got the serial number, why do I have to take pictures of the guitar body and all that stuff and the wood grain and all those other things? That's because you can fake a serial number. If somebody wants to steal a guitar and try to not have it found, you can change out the neck. You can just scratch the serial number off, and then it's going to be very hard to track that guitar just by the serial number. So that's why you want to do all these things to keep your guitars as safe as possible. Remember, I've got more than 60 free lessons right in John's Guitar Lounge, so check all those out. Subscribe to my channel so you'll see everything as soon as I post it. Check out all of my interview videos with famous guitar players, because I've got a bunch of them on my channel now, and I'm really excited about that. Like this video and share this video so that other people can see it and other people can, number 1, protect their guitars, and number 2, most importantly right now today, is help Paul Gilbert get his stolen guitars back. Thanks everybody. See you next time in John's Guitar Lounge.